Say I paid a ton of attention to the post-practice snack, but I'm sure it's not the first time coach is giving the guys ice cream.
Coach Sheridan, what areas do you feel like the offense is ahead of schedule this fall camp?
Ahead of schedule?
Yeah.
I think understanding of the scheme, I think some familiarity with the concepts that we're teaching them. Certainly you can see the growth that has taken place from spring and throughout the summer until now. Still lots of work to be done and a long way to go, but you certainly see guys understanding the concepts and the fundamentals a little bit better.
How crucial has Jeremy been to the wide receiver rooms, just overall development?
I think Jeremy has been awesome and has had a great camp and had a great spring, and he's a really good football player. Certainly in addition to that, his leadership, his character, who he is as a person, his willingness to help those around him. He wants his teammates to do well, and obviously has knowledge of the system, has played in it, previously, and so Jerm's been great, and we're lucky to have him.
How do you see the time that he talked about how much he learned from the receiver room he spent time with last year? How do you see that playing out now here?
Well, he was in a room, with 3 NFL players and coached by, in my opinion, the best wide receiver coach in the country, and so that development, that exposure, that was cultivated in that room, I certainly think helps any young player, and I think Jerm, obviously speaks to that, just what that looked like and who he was watching day to day and who he was being taught by, from a coaching perspective. And so, I think it's great. Any young player that's able to sit there and learn from older veteran players that go on to have great successful careers and to be able to sit there and continue to be taught by Coach Shep, I think that's a benefit to him.
Was the decision to move indoors today kind of a heat management thing, or just...
No, I think it was just to try to rotate the grass fields to try to give them a little bit of a breather so that they can withstand the length of the season. Also helps us just from an organizational standpoint, just field locations and what that practice may look like if you do have to come inside for weather or whatever it may be. So I think more than anything it was just to give a couple of the fields out there a little bit of a breather so that they don't get beat up too much.
Was it welcomed though, a little bit? By you or by the players to get out of the heat for a little bit? Or?
Yeah, I don't care where we practice. We just want an opportunity to get on the field and coach.
Coach, what do you feel like the biggest strength of the wide receiver group is, and where do you want to see growth?
I think the biggest strength is speed. I think it's a room that can run. I think that's pretty apparent. I think just the small details. I think that's true for every position. As the install starts to build, some of the fine details that we're harping on them and Coach Shep is pouring into them each and every day. It's just making those things happen. And so that's what I would say.
How do you think the guys acclimated to full pads today?
Well, for us, once you get into, uppers and you got shoulder pads on, there's a lot of similarity. We had a couple live periods today. I thought the guys took care of the ball. I think that's the biggest thing when you get into live portions of practice, the ball carriers holding on to the football. And so I thought they acclimated and did a nice job that way. I'm sure there'll be things that we'll go back and watch the film and want to improve on. But, for a lot of the guys, whether you put 5 pads on for the O-lineman, that doesn't change their practice, you know what I mean? And so it's really more the runners, the guys that are carrying the ball, acclimating to getting full speed tackles.
What are you hoping to see at a Saturday scrimmage?
I think simple execution, taking care of the football, communication, alignment, assignment. Those are the things you're looking for in the first scrimmage.
6 practices in, where do you think the offensive line is?
Improving. Yeah, I think they're improving. I think we're better today than we were yesterday, and we're not as good as we're going to be tomorrow.
How about right tackle?
I think that's still, the competition is still going, and I think it's early in camp. I think when you get past the first scrimmage, you kind of have a better sense of where that's at. Coach Cap's been rotating those guys, and that's been by design. And we try to cross-train the linemen anyways. Tackles playing both sides, guards playing center, etc. But that's ongoing.
Nick, back at Washington, why did the dynamic between Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer work so well?
Trust. Yeah, I think that'd be the easiest answer is trust.
We hear a lot about leadership from a lot of coaches and players. Does it seem to be that there are a lot of leaders out there?
I certainly think we have leadership on our team and specifically on the offensive side of the ball, and I know Kane would echo the same thing on defense. And I think we're trying to cultivate that each and every day. You can't have enough guys that have influence, and so that's not a concern of mine.
Talk about install. You have guys from almost every position group on offense that have come from Washington here. How much does that kind of help having those guys in those rooms that kind of are more familiar with offense?
I certainly think it doesn't hurt, because they have an understanding, as you mentioned, of just some of the communication, some of the terms. It's not identical, there's some tweaks, adjustments. I think every staff does that. You try to evolve and get better, but there's certainly a lot of similarities on the roots and foundational things that we do on offense. And so I don't think it hurts. And I think probably the biggest thing with that is just the character of those kids and their willingness to help. They care about the team, and I think their teammates could speak more specifically to that, but at least from my vantage point, that's what I've seen.
How much growth have you seen from Austin from his first spring camp to now?
Austin Mack?
Yeah, Austin Mack.
Yeah, tremendous. I think he's an incredible worker and a very committed football player. And he has poured into it, and I think he keeps getting better and better, and I think his best football is still ahead of him, which is super exciting.
Coach, with the guys being 6 practices in the fall camp, are there any checkpoints that you are seeing so far? Do you have any checkpoints like the offense should be doing this by now, things should be clicking here and there, or is it just a time thing? You can't put time on it.
Yeah, I think it's just daily improvement. That's really what we focus on. And so each and every day you look and can point to areas where you feel like you're making growth. And then there's things that you still got to clean up and got to teach and coach better and drill more or give an opportunity to do it more in competitive situations. So I think that's really what we focus on is, the relentless pursuit of continuous improvement. That's something that's a pillar in our program. Coach DeBoer preaches that to the players. We do the same thing, on each side of the ball is just be better tomorrow than you were today, and that's really what we focus on.
Nick, how does Kalen build trust with his assistant coaches?
Communication. I think in any relationship, trust is earned, and he's hired people that are, great people and really quality at what they do. And so, but I think constant communication, I think he does a great job, setting a vision for the staff on what his standards and what his expectations are. He's constantly holding us to that. And we have incredibly high standards collectively as a staff, and certainly the vision and leadership that he sets, we follow that lead. But I think he empowers the staff. He hires people that he trusts, and he's just, you guys all know I'm biased, right? And I love the guy. I think he's a tremendous head coach and a wonderful leader and great husband, father. Any other good things you want me to say about Kalen?
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I would say them all.
How do you describe the relationship as teammates between Justice Haynes and Jam Miller?
Unselfish, supportive. Yeah, I think that's probably the thing that I would say. I think Coach D does a great job in that room, and the history here would certainly show you that you need a room full of runners to get through the season and win a championship, both within carrying the football, pass protection, route running, all the different things we ask them to do. But I would say unselfish between those two and very supportive of one another.
You've got a real big tight end room. What would you say about that?
The tight end room? Are you saying big in numbers or size or
Both.
I think it's a good room. Coach Ellis is a great coach. He's able to teach them big picture football. They understand things conceptually. We ask them to do a lot of things. They're smart players. They certainly have size. They have athleticism, good ball skills. They catch the ball well. I think it's a good room with great kids. And they're getting better too, just like everybody else. Each and every day they make strides and get a little bit better. We had some short yardage goal line periods today. Their presence in the C and D gap is critical in those moments. And I'm excited about the group.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey,
Okay.
thank you.